top left photo shows inhabitable riparian covered with concrete, and top right shows riffle and pool are not restored properly, and bottom left shows sediment deposition obstructing fish habitat blocks, and bottom right shows monotonous cross-section river. So from here, I'd like to show good practices. The first one is Kami-Saigo River. This photo is before restoration, and this one is after restoration. You see, on the left side, people can access to the water. The slope is gentle, and the water side is covered with nature for animals and creatures. In this river, fish habitat was surveyed. The blue line shows the number of species. That means that the richness of species. Before the restoration project to after the project, the number increased 3 times. And you see the right columns, that shows the total number of fish population surveyed. So after restoration, it increased 12 times. So the habitat here improved a lot. That is proved. This is another example of Izumi River. The photo is before restoration. And this is after restoration. You see, we got a wide riverbed and natural river course. This is recreated. And this is another example of restoration of marshland in Kushiro, or Hokkaido Island. Firstly, we straightened the channel course to prevent flood disaster. But as a result, it caused the dry wetland. So instead of this straight channel, we restored original meandering channel. And by raising groundwater level and decreasing sediment inflow to preserve this Ramsar marsh. And this is fishway restoration in Tama River near Tokyo. And from 1992 to 2009, the fish migration range quadrupled after installing and rehabilitating fishways. And this is a result of the same river. As you see, from 1968 to the current, once disappeared local sweet fish returned to this river, shown in the right side columns. The number is rapidly increasing. And this was caused because of the improvement of water quality. As you see, the BOD figure decreased. That means the water quality has improved. And also the blue line shows the range of fish migration. It improved from 22 kilometers to 89 kilometers. And this is another restoration project for bird habitat. Originally, the river low water channel was planned to expand to the side to increase the section. But instead, the shallow wetland was created for the same purpose, for the same flood control purpose. But at the same time, it created a good feeding and resting spot for oriental storks. This stork once extinguished, but wild storks was raised again and released to the nature. And this activity gave very positive impact to local economy. The rice called stock raising rice was cultivated by local farmers. And as you see, the graph shows the sales of this stock raising rice from 2003 to 2015. The sales is rapidly increasing. And also the various stock related organic products brought sales revenues for local farmers. And based on these good practices, we published the guidebook called Nature-Oriented River Development Manual. And the manual is targeting small and medium-sized rivers. And several points I'd like to mention is, for example, keep the current river channel line and avoid increasing river flow velocity. And if you have to expand the width of the river, only expand to one side. And the riverbed should get enough space, and revetment on the side should be in upright position. So they are illustrated with practices. And one example is minimum revetment. Originally, this Onga River has a concrete covered revetment in the low flow water channel. But it prevents the access to water, so it was removed and covered with soil and vegetation. And the now created new flat channel is utilized for festivals, auto camping, canoe schools, such as local activities. And this is another guideline for better fish migration in rivers, targeted for practitioners of river administrators and so on. The guideline shows the necessity, the reasons of better fish migration in rivers and principle of improving river crossing facilities and fishway, and how to achieve such fish migration in better position, and necessary surrounding river and flow conditions. As a result of this effort, the fishway improved from 1993. So over the past 20 years, out of total 1,500 kilometer river courses administered by the central government, now 87% are connected from the river mouth to upstreams. And this is a review of the past 20 years from 1997, how the river environment policies worked. According to the river environment census we conduct for whole national rivers from 1990, the numbers of observed species, local important species, index species are all on the rise. Secondly, some rivers still need to improve restoration measures, while good practices are accumulated. On the other hand, another problems of too much vegetation in the river course are causing different problem right now. And thirdly, people prefer a variety of characteristics of rivers, such as rich nature, beautiful scenery, as well as river activities. And lastly, this is a way forward, recommended by the Committee on Promoting Nature-Oriented River Development. The motto is toward sustainable and practical nature-oriented river development. Regarding sustainability, strengthen effective river management by utilizing natural river conditions and to improve the relationship with local communities. These good practices are all done by the effort between the government and local people. And regarding practicality, to restore and conserve the river environment from the point of field management. And lastly, to apply lessons learned to the next case because the nature environment has large uncertainty. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Okada-san. I think it was very useful and encouraging, especially in the keynote speech. Professor Firoz Ahmed talked about ecosystem restoration, and here we heard practical examples how ecosystem can be restored. In Bangladesh, we are doing some experiments with hilsha, how to increase the population of hilsha in the river, but we have a lot of things to learn from this presentation. Shall we move into the last presentation of the day, which is under the heading Protection and Restoration of Water-Related Ecosystem, and it will be delivered by Muhammad Nurul Alam from Dhaka. Nurul Alam. And among us, we have His Excellency, Mr. Abdul Rauf Hakim. He's known as Minister Hakim from Sri Lanka. And I will invite him to take the floor after Nurul Alam has completed his presentation. Sir, we'll invite you in a minute.
Thank you, sir. Distinguished Chair, dear delegates, and the interested audience, ladies and gentlemen, on water-related ecosystem, good afternoon. Welcome you all at Dhaka Water Conference 2017. Now, I want to give a speech on protection and restoration of water-related ecosystem. This is Dr. Muhammad Nurul Alam, Deputy Director, Department of Bangladesh Power and Wetlands Development, Ministry of Water Resources. Now, I want to put attention on some specific fields: water-related ecosystem in Bangladesh, distribution of wetlands, classification of wetlands, SDG and wetlands, perspective of prevention and restoration measures, current status of Bangladesh, major problems and issues, scenario of water-related ecosystem components, ecosystem for achieving SDG 6.6 and monitoring indicator, action plan on different ecosystems, implementing agencies, challenges for implementation of plans, lighthouse projects, management of ECA-CBA projects, management of Tangwar Haor, Bangladesh world model of hilsha production, and concluding remarks. We everybody know what is the water-related ecosystems and how it relates with us. The water-related ecosystems are rich in biodiversity And it is very important for us from environmental and economical consideration, you know. In Bangladesh, rivers, floodplains, haor, baor, bil, jheel, ponds, low-lying areas are generally perceived as wetlands. Seasonally flooded inland areas inundated due to tidal influence in the coastal area, also called wetlands. But Ramsar has a specific definition on wetlands. This is the distribution of wetlands in world, and in left side, the perennial and main wetlands distributed all over the Bangladesh. Classification: Ramsar Convention classified the wetlands into three categories. In three broad categories we know: marine, inland, and human-made wetlands. From the Department of Bangladesh Haor and Wetlands, projects were undertaken to classify the wetlands. Bangladesh has primarily classified the wetlands into four categories: marine or coastal wetlands, inland wetlands, human-made wetlands, reversible wetlands. Each category, except reversible wetlands, further classify into two classes, which are temporary and permanent. Among the targets of SDG 6, following four are directly related to wetlands: 6.3, 6.4, 6.5, 6.6. This paper addresses the target SDG 6.6, focusing on water-related ecosystem. Bangladesh has a good number of policies, rules, regulations, and acts such as National Water Policy, Environment Policy, Coastal Zone Policy, Environmental Conservation Act, etc., etc. Campaign of public awareness for the protection of water-related ecosystem has drawn mass attention in recent years. Ecological critical area for the protection of the wetlands. You know, Bangladesh has 13 declared ecologically critical area, which I will describe next slide. Restoration measures: some corrective or restoration measures taken from Bangladesh government, some policies like National Water Management Plan, Master Plan of Haor Area, the Sundarban Wildlife Management Plan, Conservation of Bangladesh Coastal Zone, etc. Bangladesh has undertaken a few restoration projects like Gorai River restoration projects, Buriganga restoration projects, Tanguar Haor management projects, Tanguar Haor wetland biodiversity conservation projects, etc. Here I want to say that more than 100 policy and plans we have to restore the water-related ecosystems. Current status: we have 13 ecologically critical areas declared by Department of Environment: Sundarban, Teknaf, Saint Martin, Hakaluki, Sonadia, Tanguar Haor, Marjat Baor, Gulshan, Baridara Lake, Buriganga River, Turak River, Chitalakka River, Balu River, Jaflang Dauki River. And 4 protected areas by Department of Forest: Sundarban, Sylhet, Chittagong, and coastal area. One lake, that is Kaptai Lake, managed by a committee headed by Divisional Commissioner Chittagong under the Ministry of Chittagong Hill Tracts Affairs. What is the major problem and issues for Bangladesh? Over-siltation, cross-boundary river, water withdrawal and pollution, insufficient river flow, modified drainage schemes, saline intrusion, housing and urbanization, forceful possession of water bodies, low rate of aquifer recharge, increased coastal salinity, over-harvesting of ecosystem resources, habitat loss, transportation and communication, education and awareness. Early anticipation and prevention of major upcoming environmental crises in these areas will undoubtedly produce enormous benefits in the long run. This is a scenario of water-related ecosystem components. You see some fauna, the total number of species, Bangladesh 4,469, and some vertebrate fauna here 1,597. According to IUCN, some are already threatened and some are extinct. In the left side top, you see some mammals and birds are near about threatened. In top right, you see the vulnerable and critical endangered percentage. Some assessment result by IUCN, 2% regional flora and fauna biota are extinct, threatened species 24%, and non-threatened species 74%. And in IUCN, another parameter, some fish species threatness you can see, and in the left side you see some extinct bird and some mammals from Bangladesh. Ecosystem for achieving SDG 6.6 by UN Water, 6 ecosystems were identified for protection and restoration: forest, marshland and others, river and creeks of mountains, wetland, rivers, aquifers, lakes. Monitoring indicator and systems by UN Water and IC biodiversity target declared like indicator percentage of change in water-related ecosystem, extent over time, sub-indicator, special extent, quantity of water content within this ecosystem, health or state of this ecosystem. And these are the, in lower portion, you can see the 3 steps of monitoring. From the Bangladesh government has made a action plan to implement the SDG target 6.6 on different ecosystem. For ecosystem, forest, marshland and others, some protection and restoration measures at the top side, and some protection and restoration measures for lakes in the lower part. For river and creeks of mountain, some protective measures we are trying to implement in the top side, and some restoration measures at the lower side. For wetlands, we are taking some protection and restoration measures. For rivers, some protection and restoration measures, activities. For aquifers, some protection and restoration activities we are trying to adopt. The indicators of monitoring should address the following: formulation or updating the policies, rules and regulations, implementation of planned infrastructure, regular maintenance of the infrastructure, area protected, area restored, area degraded, area encouraged, causes of degradation, quality of habitat, project benefit, implementation of rules and regulations, social acceptance, mobilization towards rules, regulations, etc., gender equity of project benefit. Near about 200 government organizations we have identified to implement the SDGs target 6.6. These are a list for the for implementing the targets. Challenges for implementation of plans. Institutional challenge: weak monitoring system and enforcement of regulations, untreated industrial and urban effluent discharge in the absence of strong monitoring, inadequate professional expertise and organization, absence of ecosystem risk activity, inadequate technology, inadequate capacity, weak interdepartmental coordination, cooperation, and integration. Some economic challenges like unplanned industrialization, lack of willingness of industrialists. Some financial, social, and climate change challenges for implementation of plans. A good number of lighthouse projects we have. These some projects, I want to describe only one or two. The ECA-CBA project, Community-Based Ecosystem Conservation and Adaptation in Ecologically Critical Areas of Bangladesh. These 6 best output we got from these projects. Another lighthouse project, that is management of Tangwar Haur management. It's also community-based management. These are the 8 basic output we have got from the Tangwar Haur management project. Last slide, Bangladesh, a world model for hillsha production. Among the 11 countries where hillsha is found, Bangladesh is the only country where production of this silver fish is on the rise. Hillsha production has been increasing at the rate of 8% to 10% every year in Bangladesh. World Fish says Bangladesh is the leading country in hillsha production with 65% of all hillsha. You will be happy to know that Bangladesh government has declared a hillsha sanctuary in the lower Meghna estuary. You can see the picture, and left side, total hillsha cash production are increasing. Concluding remarks. Regional and international cooperation regarding cross-boundary river, water withdrawal, water pollution, food control should be considered on priority basis. In order to ensure regular maintenance, inadequate fund must be made available. For taking infrastructure project, external support may be required. This may obtain from Global Climate Change Fund and bilateral arrangements with different countries, banks, and other international institutes. Public-private partnership mechanism may also be explored. Public awareness should be raised. Strict enforcement of rules and regulations must be ensured. Thank you for attention on ecosystem.
Thank you. That was a thorough overview what is happening in Bangladesh. So the time is up, and I assume that the tea is getting cold, but still it is my privilege to invite my co-chair, Chief Engineer Subodh Ghosh, Chief Engineer of DPHE, to say a few, take the floor and say a few things. Subodh.
I think my sir forgets his student's name. Actually, my name is Sudhir Kumar Ghosh, not Subodh sir. Respected chair of the session and distinguished participant, good afternoon. First, I would like to thanks to our key presentators and other 5 presentators. We know that the SDG 6 actually get impact on other SDG 7 numbers of SDG goals. So the whole SDG frameworks is heavily depends on the SDG 6. So SDG 6 is very important at national level, at regional level, and at global level. SDG 6 speaks water and sanitation for all. But it should be safely managed, educate, and sustainable. The main challenge lies on that. That in that case, our water is